Sometimes, the loudest "I love you" is never spoken. It's not wrapped in grand declarations or dramatic speeches. It's hidden in the everyday, tucked quietly into the way he looks at you, the way he remembers the tiniest detail about your day, or how he shows up, again and again, without ever needing to be asked. Men aren't always taught how to express emotion openly. Many have grown up in a world where feelings are whispered, not shouted, where affection is shown, not said. So when a man truly cares, it often comes out in subtle ways. In gentle moments. In thoughtful silence. In the unspoken acts that reveal everything you need to know, if you're willing to look closely. Maybe he doesn't flood your inbox with sweet words. Maybe he isn't one to gush in public or wear his heart on his sleeve. But pay attention. Look closer. He's telling you in a language that doesn't use words at all. It's in how he offers you his jacket without hesitation when you're cold. In the way he stays awake just to make sure you got home safe. In how he listens, really listens, without ever touching his phone. It's the way he matches your mood without even realizing it. How he tries to make you laugh when you're stressed. And the way his eyes soften when he looks at you and thinks you're not watching. These aren't accidents. These are quiet, steady signals. Signs that his heart is invested, that his soul is paying attention, even when his mouth stays shut. Because love, real love, isn't always loud. It's sometimes shy, sometimes simple, sometimes silent. And the beautiful truth is this: when a man truly cares, he doesn't just say it, he lives it. Through consistency, through presence, through the little things that slowly build trust without a single promise spoken out loud. So if you've ever wondered how to tell if he cares, even if he hasn't said it yet, this is for you. These are the gentle, silent ways men often reveal their hearts. Not through words, but through actions that speak louder than anything they could ever say. Let's take a closer look. 1. He remembers the smallest details you mentioned in passing. When a man remembers the smallest details you mentioned in passing, it's one of the quietest but most powerful signs that he genuinely cares. He might not say it out loud, but his attention to those tiny things reveals how closely he's been listening, how deeply he's been tuned into you, even when you weren't trying to be noticed. Maybe you casually mentioned your favorite flower during a conversation weeks ago, and one day he surprises you with it. Not on a big occasion, not for show, but simply because he remembered. That isn't about grand gestures, it's about emotional presence. He heard you, held onto your words, and chose to act on them. You might tell him once that you don't like sugar in your tea or that you always get nervous before work presentations. The next time you're out, he makes sure your tea's just right, or he texts you in the morning with a small wish of luck. You never had to remind him. That one-time mention was enough. That's how someone who truly pays attention shows affection, by locking into the parts of you that most overlook. These small recollections aren't just cute habits. They're reflections of emotional depth. When someone holds onto your offhand comments, the kind even you forget you made, it means he values your world, your words, your feelings. It's a quiet kind of love, one that doesn't demand applause. It whispers, "I care," every time he remembers how you take your coffee, what your favorite season is, or which movie made you cry when you were 10. It shows he's not just present physically, he's present emotionally. He listens when you speak, even when you're not trying to be important. In a world full of people who hear to respond, he listens to remember. And in that remembrance, without fanfare or flair, he shows you that you truly matter. 2. He makes sure you get home safe, even if it means staying up late. When a man makes sure you get home safe, even if it means staying up late, it speaks volumes about how deeply he cares, without needing to say the words. It's not about control or obligation. It's about quiet concern, the kind that lingers long after a conversation ends. Maybe you've gone out with friends or are driving home late, and even though he's exhausted from his own day, he stays awake just to make sure you text him when you're in. He might say, "Let me know when you reach," but it's what he does next that matters. Waiting, checking his phone, not falling asleep until he's certain you're safe. He may not be able to be there physically, but his heart is clearly present. That kind of patience, that kind of care, shows he's emotionally invested in your well-being. It's subtle but profound. It's him saying, "You matter," without ever having to say it aloud. He could sleep. He could assume you're okay. But he chooses not to. He chooses to stay awake, eyes half closed, phone in hand, until that one message lights up his screen and he can finally exhale. Even more quietly. Sometimes he doesn't ask for the update. He just tracks the time and sends a message himself. "Did you get home safe?" Not because he doubts you, but because he doesn't want to sleep with worry in his chest. That small gesture, repeated over time, becomes a language of its own. It's a love that protects from a distance. It's easy to overlook, but it's one of the most telling signs of care. Anyone can show up when it's convenient. But staying up for you, even silently, just to make sure you're okay, that's not just affection. It's devotion in disguise. No spotlight, no speeches, just genuine, steady love. 3. He notices when something's off, even before you say a word. When a man notices something's off even before you say a word, it means he's not just looking at you, he's truly seeing you. He's tuned into the tiny shifts in your expression, your tone, the way your energy changes. Maybe your smile is a little slower, your laughter not quite reaching your eyes, or your texts are shorter than usual. You haven't said anything, but he knows. He senses the difference, not through dramatic clues, but through subtle ones. That kind of awareness doesn't come from casual interest. It comes from emotional closeness. He might ask, "Are you okay?" Not out of habit, but because something in your silence spoke louder than words. Maybe you were both laughing a moment ago, but he still picks up on that invisible weight in your voice. That kind of sensitivity can't be faked. It means he's been paying attention over time. He knows what your joy looks like and what your quiet pain feels like, even when you try to hide it. Sometimes, he won't even ask. He'll just respond, with a warm gesture, a thoughtful act, or simply being close without pressing you to talk. He might send you a playlist, bring you your favorite drink, or just sit with you in silence. It's his way of saying, "I'm here, and I know something's wrong, even if you don't want to talk about it yet." That's care with depth. He doesn't wait for you to break down. He offers comfort before you fall. This kind of attentiveness creates emotional safety. It tells you that you're seen, even in your silence. It tells you that your presence matters, even when your words are few. It's not about dramatic declarations. It's about the quiet way he steps in when your world shifts, no matter how slightly. And in that, he shows you a kind of love that listens to the unspoken. When a man shares his food with you without being asked, it might seem like a small thing, but emotionally, it speaks volumes. Food is personal. It's comfort, it's habit, it's instinct. Most people guard their favorite snacks or meals without even realizing it. So when he offers you the last bite of something he really enjoys, or casually places a forkful of his dish on your plate, it's not just politeness. It's affection in action. He doesn't wait for you to hint or ask. He just does it. Whether it's splitting his fries, handing over the last spoon of dessert, or saving a piece of something he thought you'd like, it's his way of quietly including you in the things that make him happy. That's not just food. It's thoughtfulness wrapped in simplicity. It's him saying, "I want you to enjoy what I'm enjoying." Even more telling is when he notices what you like and makes sure it's there. Maybe you once mentioned loving a specific candy, and now it shows up in his bag. Or he orders something knowing you'll want a bite, because he knows you'll say you're not hungry, but end up stealing some anyway. He lets it happen. He plans for it. That's care without needing thanks. Sometimes, he doesn't speak during the gesture. He just slides the plate closer or takes the veggies off your burger because he remembers you don't like them. These aren't grand romantic moments. They are quiet, everyday signs of deepening emotional connection. Because when someone offers you something that's meant to comfort them, and they do it effortlessly, generously, it's love without pressure. It's kindness without condition. And while words can be misunderstood, these small acts of sharing are clear. They say, "You matter. You're part of this moment. I want you to have what I have." And that, in the simplest, most human way, is a form of silent love. 5. He adjusts his plans to make time for you. When a man adjusts his plans to make time for you, it's one of the clearest signs that you hold real importance in his life, even if he never says it out loud. Time is something we all guard, especially in a busy world full of schedules, obligations, and personal routines. So when he shifts things around, cancels something less important, or finds a pocket of time just to be with you, it's not just about being available, it's about choosing you. He might have had a long day or been looking forward to a night to himself, but when he hears you've had a rough day or simply want to see him, he rearranges. Not out of guilt or pressure, but because he genuinely wants to be there. Even if it's just for an hour between meetings or a late-night call after everything else is done, he finds space for you. That's not convenience, that's commitment in disguise. He may not make a big deal out of it. He might not even mention that he moved things around. But if you pay attention, you'll notice the pattern. The way he makes you feel prioritized. The way his busy suddenly becomes free when it's about you. He shows up. He makes it happen. Not because he has to, but because he wants to. And it's not always about grand gestures. Sometimes, it's him leaving a gathering early to see you, postponing a workout to take your call, or skipping a game night to be by your side when you're feeling low. These aren't sacrifices he resents. They're decisions he makes with care. That flexibility, that willingness to shift his life even slightly just to be present for you, speaks volumes. It says, "You matter enough for me to bend time a little." It's one of the strongest unspoken ways he tells you that you're not just a part of his life, you're becoming a priority in it. 6. He silently stands up for you when others talk down to you. When a man silently stands up for you when others talk down to you, it reveals a powerful kind of loyalty, the kind that doesn't need to be loud to be felt. He may not raise his voice or create a scene, but his actions, his body language, and his quiet firmness speak volumes. It shows that he sees your worth, even when others fail to. And more importantly, it shows that he won't let anyone diminish you, not even for a second. Sometimes it's the way he changes the subject when someone makes a hurtful joke at your expense. Other times, it's the sharp glance he gives when someone tries to talk over you. He doesn't need to argue or shout. His silence, his shift in tone, or the way he suddenly grows serious, that's his way of drawing a line. His letting them know that disrespect won't be tolerated around you. In group settings, this quiet defense becomes even more noticeable. Maybe someone mocks your idea, and before you can respond, he jumps in with support. He reinforces your point, adds weight to your voice, and does so in a way that feels natural, not forced. He's not trying to rescue you. He's just making sure you never feel alone in a room that turns cold. His loyalty isn't performative. He doesn't do it for credit or attention. He does it because when someone truly values you, they naturally protect your dignity, even in small moments. His defense might not always look like confrontation. Sometimes it's choosing not to laugh at a joke that made you uncomfortable or walking away from people who don't respect you. These decisions may seem subtle, but they carry weight. And when you notice it, when you realize he was on your side without needing a spotlight, you begin to see the depth of his respect. He doesn't just care about how you feel in private. He cares about how others treat you in public. That kind of quiet protection is love that doesn't need to be announced. It's just there, standing beside you, even when you don't realize it. 7. He offers you his jacket when you're cold, without a second thought. When a man offers you his jacket when you're cold, without a second thought, it's more than just a kind gesture. It's instinctive care, wrapped in a simple act that says, "Your comfort matters more than mine." He doesn't wait for you to ask. He notices the subtle signs, the way your hands curl into your sleeves, the way you shiver slightly, or how your voice changes when the air gets chilly. And without hesitation, without making it dramatic, he simply takes off his jacket and places it around your shoulders. It's not about impressing you. In fact, he probably doesn't even think twice. To him, it's just natural. You're cold, he has warmth, and that's all the logic he needs. That kind of action doesn't come from duty. It comes from genuine affection. It means he's paying attention not just to your words, but to your body language, to your comfort, to your emotional and physical needs in real time. What makes it even more telling is the way he does it. He doesn't ask if you want it. He just gives it, like it was always meant for you. And sometimes, he'll act like it's no big deal, even if it's freezing inside. That's not because he's trying to play the hero. It's because seeing you comfortable, safe, or simply smiling warms him more than the jacket ever could. Moments like this often go unnoticed or brushed off as sweet or romantic, but in truth, they reveal something deeper. They show his readiness to give up a piece of his own comfort for yours, without asking for anything in return. That's love without words. A kind of care that doesn't need attention or approval. It just exists, naturally and quietly. And when someone offers you warmth in a cold moment, not out of obligation but out of love, that's when you know you're cherished in the most human, most real way. 8. He checks in on you during tough days, even with just a simple look or gesture. When a man checks in on you during tough days, even with just a simple look or gesture, it shows an emotional awareness that words can't always express. He doesn't need a full explanation to sense when something's off. Maybe he can tell by the way you're quieter than usual, or how your eyes avoid his for a second too long. And in that moment, he doesn't overwhelm you with questions. He just reaches out gently, in his own way, to say, "I'm here." It might be a soft touch on your hand, a warm cup of your favorite drink waiting for you, or even just a glance that lingers a bit longer than normal. It's the kind of look that doesn't demand an answer. It offers space, understanding, and presence. Sometimes he'll send a message like "thinking of you" or "here if you need anything," without trying to solve your problems or pry them out of you. He's not trying to fix you. He just wants you to know you're not alone in the moment. These check-ins are quiet, almost invisible to others, but they carry a powerful weight. He might wrap a blanket around you without saying a word, or cancel plans without announcing it, just to be nearby if you need him. These are not grand, dramatic rescues. They are calm, consistent reassurances that say, "I notice. I care. I'm paying attention." Even when you don't want to talk, even when you pretend you're fine, he still sees you. And instead of pushing you to open up, he offers a safe space where you can just exist without pretending. That kind of care is rare. It's not performative, it's patient. It doesn't rush your healing or your mood. It simply stays with you. And in a world where people often miss the quiet signs of sadness, a man who notices your silence and answers it with kindness, not pressure, is someone who truly cares in the deepest, most meaningful way. 9. He listens fully, without interrupting or looking at his phone. When a man listens fully, without interrupting or looking at his phone, it's one of the clearest, most respectful signs that he truly values you. Not just what you say, but who you are. In today's world, where distractions are constant and attention spans are short, giving someone your undivided presence is rare. So when he puts his phone down, looks you in the eye, and focuses entirely on your words, it tells you something powerful. You matter more than anything else right now. He isn't just waiting for his turn to speak. He's not trying to fix you or rush the conversation. He's absorbing your tone, your expression, your pauses, the full language of your emotions. Even if what you're saying isn't dramatic or urgent, he treats it with the same care. That kind of deep listening isn't about solving problems. It's about making you feel heard. And that feeling, the feeling of truly being listened to, creates safety and trust without him having to say a single romantic word. Sometimes he doesn't respond immediately, because he's not just reacting, he's actually processing what you said. He nods. He lets you finish. He waits before jumping in. You don't feel the need to compete with a screen or repeat yourself just to be understood. You know he's with you, moment by moment. Even more quietly, his eyes soften when you speak. He mirrors your emotions. He lets your story unfold at its own pace. There's no rush, no judgment, no wandering attention. That's not just being polite. That's emotional presence. That's a man choosing connection over convenience. And in those moments, when he could be anywhere else but chooses to stay with you, fully, it says everything he doesn't need to say out loud. I care. I respect you. What you say matters to me. That's not just listening. It's love paying attention. 10. He mirrors your moods, smiling when you smile, quiet when you're down. When a man mirrors your moods, smiling when you smile, quiet when you're down, it's a subtle but deeply telling sign of emotional connection. Without even realizing it, he begins to reflect the emotional rhythm of your heart. It's not forced. It's not something he rehearses. It's natural, instinctive, and rooted in how deeply he's tuned into you. If you're happy, laughing at something small, his eyes light up with the same joy, not because of the joke, but because your happiness is contagious to him. Your mood affects his, not out of weakness, but out of care. And when you're not okay, when you're quiet, low, or simply tired, he doesn't try to cheerlead you out of it with false positivity. He simply shifts with you. He becomes softer, gentler. His voice lowers, his energy calms, and he creates space for you to just be. He doesn't ask you to mask your emotions because he respects them. Instead of forcing you to be okay, he lowers his pace to match yours, like a quiet companion walking beside you in the rain without needing to talk. This kind of emotional mirroring isn't about imitation. It's empathy in action. He feels with you, not just for you. He doesn't need to explain it. His body language, his tone, even his silence speaks the same language as yours. And because of that, you never feel alone in your emotions, whether they are joyful or heavy. Sometimes, he's the only one who matches your laughter with real joy, and other times, he's the only one who recognizes your sadness before you say a word. That's what makes it so meaningful. It's not about performance. It's about presence. It's his way of silently saying, I'm with you, whatever you feel. In a world that often tells us to hide our emotions, someone who mirrors yours without fear is offering you more than attention. They're offering you emotional closeness, without ever needing to label it. 11. He does small things to make your day easier, like holding doors or carrying bags. When a man does small things to make your day easier, like holding doors open or carrying your bags, it may seem like simple courtesy, but it's often much more than that. These tiny actions, done without being asked or expecting praise, are his way of showing love through presence and support. He's not trying to impress you with grand gestures. He's not making a show of being helpful. He's just tuned into your comfort, your needs, and your routine, and he quietly steps in wherever he can to make things a little lighter for you. Maybe you're walking into a building, and without a word, he reaches for the door ahead of you. Or you're juggling groceries, and before you even glance at him for help, he's already taken half the load. It's instinctive, almost automatic. He doesn't treat these actions as favors. To him, they're natural expressions of care. He notices what you might be struggling with, even in small ways, and chooses to carry a little of that weight alongside you. It's in the way he slows his steps so you can keep pace, or how he reaches for something on a high shelf so you don't have to strain. He offers to drive when you're tired, remembers to bring you water when you're overwhelmed, or grabs your charger when your phone's dying. These aren't romantic cliches. They are real, thoughtful habits of someone who pays attention to the details of your day. He might not say, I love you all the time, but his actions whisper it quietly. Every time he eases your burden, even a little, he's saying, I've got you. He's showing you that your comfort matters. Your stress isn't invisible to him. Your tired moments don't go unnoticed. And those small, consistent acts, done not for attention, but simply because he cares, create a quiet kind of safety. The kind where you don't have to ask for help, because he's already there, walking beside you, doing what he can to make the world just a little softer for you. 12. He makes you laugh when he sees you're stressed, just to lighten your heart. When a man makes you laugh when he sees you're stressed, just to lighten your heart, it's one of the most tender, unspoken ways he shows he cares. He doesn't try to fix your problems or lecture you about how things will get better. Instead, he leans into the moment with softness, sensing that what you need most right now isn't advice. It's a break, a breath, and he offers it in the form of laughter. It's not always loud or silly. Sometimes it's just a quiet joke, a goofy expression, or a playful tease meant to draw a smile from you when you least expect it. He's not performing, he's connecting. His timing isn't about trying to distract you from your feelings, but gently lifting you just enough so you can breathe through them. He doesn't minimize your stress. He simply refuses to let it consume you alone. You might be pacing, overwhelmed, or holding back tears, And he shows up with the lightest comment that cracks your tension just enough to let something real shine through. Laughter. That laughter, however brief, reminds you that even in the heaviness, joy still exists. And he becomes the one who offers that reminder over and over, without ever needing to be asked. It shows he understands you, not just what stresses you out, but what soothes you. And his instinct to comfort you through humor says, I see you. I hate seeing you this way. Let me hold your hand without holding it. He knows you're strong, but he also knows you're tired. And that smile he pulls out of you is his quiet way of easing your load. In those moments, his laughter becomes more than a sound. It becomes a shelter, a sign that is not just watching from the sidelines. He's standing right beside you, offering you the softest possible shield against the world. 18. He remembers your preferences, from coffee order to how you like your space. When a man remembers your preferences, from how you take your coffee to the way you like your space, it's a quiet yet powerful sign that is paying attention not just to what you say, but to who you are. He doesn't need to ask twice. He doesn't need reminders. Because the first time you mentioned it, he was already listening, not out of duty, but out of genuine care. It might be as small as knowing you don't like sugar in your tea, or that you prefer your room a little cooler when you sleep. Maybe he remembers that you like your fries extra crispy or that you always skip the pickles. But the magic isn't in the preference itself. It's in the fact that he cared enough to remember. And when someone holds onto your details, especially the little ones, it's a soft way of saying, you matter to me. He doesn't do it to earn points or prove something. It becomes second nature to him, because he's observing with intention. It's why your favorite playlist plays when you ride in his car. It's why he knows when to give you space without taking it personally. It's how he instinctively avoids things that make you uncomfortable, even in social situations, just because you once mentioned them casually. This kind of thoughtfulness doesn't shout. It doesn't demand praise. It lives in the quiet rituals of everyday life. The perfect cup he hands you without asking, the way he adjusts the lights just how you like them, or how he knows when not to talk and just sit beside you. It's care in its purest form, consideration that expects nothing in return. And the beauty of it is, you may not even notice it right away. But over time, you begin to feel it, in the way he's attuned to your comfort, your habits, your energy. That's when you realize, he's not just showing up for the big moments. He's been building a quiet, loving map of your world, one preference at a time. 14. He looks at you with soft eyes, especially when he thinks you're not looking. When a man looks at you with soft eyes, especially when he thinks you're not looking, it reveals something no words can capture. It's in those unguarded moments, when he believes you're distracted or turned away, that his true feelings often slip through. His gaze isn't intense or rehearsed. It's gentle, tender, and still, as if he's silently memorizing the shape of your smile, the way your hands move, the curve of your presence in his life. It's love without declaration, affection without fanfare. There's something deeply intimate about the way he watches you when you don't know you're being watched. He's not admiring you the way someone does in a photo. He's observing you like someone who feels lucky just to exist in the same space. And in that quiet gaze is a feeling of peace, a moment where time softens around you and nothing else matters. He might be sitting across from you while you talk to someone else, or lying beside you while you scroll through your phone. You're not trying to impress him. You're not even paying attention, but his eyes never leave you. And if you ever catch him mid-glance, he'll probably smile, look away shyly, or pretend he wasn't staring at all. But that flash of vulnerability, that softness in his expression, tells you everything. It's in those looks that you see his comfort with you, his emotional presence, and the way you make him feel something he probably struggles to put into words. Those eyes hold admiration, respect, and care. They don't ask for anything. They just witness. They take in your existence and silently say, I see you. I choose you. And even if he never says, I love you out loud just yet, those moments, when his gaze is slow, quiet, and full of warmth, whisper it over and over again. Not for show, not for response, just because it's real. 15. He shows up, consistently, quietly, always. When a man shows up, consistently, quietly, always, it's one of the purest forms of love you can experience. He may not say flowery things or promise you the stars, but he is there. When it matters, when it doesn't, when it's inconvenient, and when no one else is. There's no grand entrance, no announcement. He simply appears, again and again, because in his heart, your presence in his life deserves steady devotion, not just attention in the good moments. He doesn't wait for you to ask for help. He notices when you're overwhelmed and quietly steps in. He's the one who checks on you after a long day, offers support during your lowest moments, and stands by you when the world feels too heavy. Not because he has to, but because he chooses to. Every time. His love doesn't arrive in waves. It's the quiet tide that never leaves. Even when life gets messy or communication isn't perfect, he doesn't disappear. He doesn't punish you with silence. He doesn't pull away when things get hard. He stays calm, patient, loyal. He might not always know the right words, but his presence says everything. In a world full of people who make promises and vanish when it's inconvenient, his reliability becomes rare, sacred. He becomes your safe place, not through drama or declarations, but through the gentle act of just being there.